walking down the road.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Second segment, hour number one on this Monday, exciting county convention day. Joining us on the line right now is a candidate running for the 106th State House seat. Currently in that position is Sue Aller. She's term limited out. It's an open race at this point, and the candidate, Larry Hull, is on the line, Hull. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Randy. How are you today?
I'm good. I understand you traveled downstate to deliver a speech and to network with some folks. Why don't you tell everybody about what you did?
Wow, that's right. And I'm surprised. Being the first-time candidate, I didn't realize how much traveling would be involved, so I went down to Birch Run on Friday. I'm headed over to Alpena today. I have a number of people that ask me, Larry, why in the world are you traveling down to Birch Run when you're running for a political office in the 106th district? And my answer is twofold, really. Number one, it was an honor that I couldn't pass up. The organization that put on that event down at Tony's Restaurant in Birch Run is named America First, Michigan First. And they have an elaborate vetting process that they put their speakers through. And it's quite an honor because I went through the vetting process. They selected me. I was the only candidate from the 106 to get an invitation to go speak down there. So that was the first thing. I couldn't pass up that honor of speaking in it's almost like the stomach of the alligator down there between Saginaw and Flint. Is kind of, that's where a lot of problems reside, and so I felt I had to go down there. Secondly is I had to meet some of the candidates that were running. Mike Detmer was down there. Kurt Damerl is running for House District 84. I think I've mentioned in the past, Randy, that I have relationships with some legislators. Not a whole bunch, but some.
Sure.
Some that are currently in the legislature and some that have been in the legislature. To a person, they warned me. They said, Larry, when you get to Lansing, you need to be cautious. Take the first 6 months or so just to get a feel for things and figure out who your allies are and who your adversaries are. There are people that will talk to you from the very first day like you're the best friend they ever had. And then when it suits them, they'll turn around and stab you on the back on certain legislation. And I goes, holy smokes, I don't want it to take 6 months. I want to get down there with my feet on the ground. So I'm trying to get around and meet these different candidates. I have my own vetting process. I'm trying to find out who are the constitutional patriots that I can rely on. Once they get through August and once they get through November, I only have about 2 months to meet with those folks and say,
right.
Look, you and I are on the same page. Let's put together a strategy so we can break the power structure in Lansing. So that's why I'm traveling around like that. And I think it's the proper strategy for me at this time.
Now, one of the things that, of course, you talked about on your initial interview with us last week that got Dave Agerman's attention and a few other folks was that you came right out and said the power structure in Lansing between the Speaker of the House, the Senate Majority Leader, how things are done as far as committee assignments, who actually hires your staff. I mean, there's all kinds of components to this thing. You came out and said, this is your top priority. We need to fix this power problem that we have in Lansing. And how is that strategy policy playing out when you talk to the folks, not only in the 106th House District where you're running, but like you said, down in Birch Run, how did they receive your message?
Holy smokes. I was incredibly and delightfully surprised. During the course of that conversation, I touched on much of those same topics as far as breaking the power structure. And there were approximately 60 people in attendance down there to hear myself and Matt DePerno and Mike Detmer and so forth. And about a half a dozen or so of those people sought me out personally after the presentation to congratulate me and to thank me and to wish me luck and to offer any assistance that they could. It was very well received. I'm telling you, Randy, that this November 3rd election has woken up. I should say people are awake. I don't want to use the term woke. People are awake, and they are looking for conservatives that will actually step in and get the job done. I was very happy. Yes, indeed.
Now, you're referring obviously to the November 3rd, 2020 election, and I'm sure you spoke about election integrity and the different things that we've talked about on this show and the evidence that Matt DePerno actually will be going to the Michigan Appellate Court tomorrow. He is opening arguments in front of the Appellate Court is coming up tomorrow, April 12th. So I'm sure there has been a lot of discussions about it. You brought it up, I'm sure, when you spoke down there. How do the people down there, the 60-some folks you spoke to, how do they feel about election integrity?
Election integrity is probably their number one topic. And that goes without saying, I believe, because they recognize that if we don't have fair elections, our fundamental right as Americans, as citizens of this greatest country on the face of the earth, we have the privilege of selecting our own representation and our own leaders. And if some organization who designs a method of thwarting our opportunity to select our own representation and leaders, that is an affront to our country. And I actually suggested, and I hope I planted a seed in Matt DePerno's mind. I said, look, when Matt gets into the Attorney General seat, I hope that there are some people that he will actually consider the act of treason for, because this is nothing less than an act of war against our country, that November 3rd election. So it's very well received down there in the southern part of the state. There are conservatives, Randy, all over this state of Michigan. Let me point out, I think I might have mentioned last time we talked about trifectas. What a trifecta means is that when one political party has control of the House and the control of the Senate and also has the governorship, out of the last 30 years, the Republican Party has had trifecta control 14 of those 30 years. The Democrats have had it 0 in those 30 years. What that tells me is that Michigan is fundamentally a conservative state. The people of Michigan are conservatives. But the disappointment is they go to the ballot box and they look for the candidate with the R behind the name, and they think they're voting for a conservative, and many times they're disappointed. So that is one of the big issues that I'm trying to solve. I'm trying to vet candidates to find the true conservatives, and I'm going to get in there, and we're going to break the power structure of Lansing.
Well, the other component to that is there are people running against you in the August 2nd primary. And I don't know yet if any of you have talked, but is there a good opportunity once we get past the April 19th filing deadline, which is a week from tomorrow, when that we will know then for sure everybody who's filed, who's actually in the race, going to be on the ballot on August 2nd. Have any of you started having preliminary discussions about participating in some debates so people can meet you guys, ask you questions, and kind of start formulating who they're supporting out of all the candidates running?
That's a great question. As a matter of fact, I had a phone call Saturday from one of the county commissioners in Cheboygan County, and that commissioner raised that exact point right there. He said, I would love to have all three of you guys together in the same room answering the same questions so the people of Cheboygan County can see the difference between the three of you. So, Randy, I'm going to pursue that. I'm going to go back to that commissioner, and I'm going to suggest that he try to organize that. And I'm going to go around to the different county commissions and let them know what Cheboygan County commissioners are doing and suggest that they do the same thing. I will travel to all 6 of my counties in the 106 to sit down with a debate with both of my opponents. Yes, indeed.
Well, see, and that's the thing I think people need to know, because there are some races up here in northern Michigan where certain candidates feel that they are already, quote unquote, the front runner, and that they have a leg up on the other candidates simply because of their polling that their camp has done, their name recognition perhaps within the district. And I think it's a false argument I think it's a false dynamic that they think they're a front runner and therefore may not participate in any debates against their opponents. I think that'd be a big mistake if any of the candidates in your 106 race does that.
I agree with you 100%. The people have a right to see the candidates face to face, all three at the same time. And if someone is reluctant to enter a debate stage and answer the questions one after the other, then that person doesn't deserve the confidence and the trust of the citizens. That's all there is to it.
Right. Well, and the other component to this, Larry, is people need to know, you've been retired for 9 years. You're 71 years old. It's not something that this was on your bucket list. You were just minding your own business, retired, having a good life up here in northern Michigan, and you felt compelled to get involved. You're spending a lot of money, not only yourself, but out there asking for donations. And a lot of people are saying, Larry, why are you doing it? And basically, I've been put in a position already since you have been on the show now and we're running commercials for you. People are saying, wow, this guy, he really didn't need to do this, retired Navy officer and completely minding his own business, having a good time. And I guess that's the main message I want people to understand. Within a minute or two, Larry, explain to the folks why you basically came out of retirement, why you're actually running for the 106th.
I'll do that. And just to be clear, not only do I have a pension from the Navy and my Social Security, my wife has got a teaching retirement. She's been teaching special ed in Michigan and earned that retirement and her Social Security. We don't need this. We don't need the headache. I don't need a new career. I woke up on the 4th of November a different person, and I've been busy ever since. I've done a lot of activities with respect to precinct delegates and canvass activities and going to different rallies, doing research, trying to find out what went wrong and how I can fix it. And not having seen anyone else step up and make the statements that I'm making, I figured, holy smokes, there was only one thing I needed to do is enter the race. And I prayed diligently about it, and the Holy Spirit prompted me and pushed me through that door, opened up other doors of opportunities. My website, for example, was donated to me. I found someone, he saw my campaign literature, and he said, wow, let me do your website for free as a in-kind service. So That's the type of people that are stepping up for me, and I'm very confident. I'm very happy that I'm doing this. Even if I don't get in, Randy, I am going to raise the level of the conversation so that the people can make a better decision.
Absolutely. Well, again, we're going to give out that website. It's the way he is, laid out, clear, concise, and to the point. His name, Larry Hull, Hull, 106.com. Can't get any easier than that. Larry Hull, Hull, 106.com is the website. You have all your information on there, Larry, your issues, where you stand on different things, as well as some pretty cool photographs. I've had some comments. Everybody's loving your pictures, so greatly appreciate you doing that. But more importantly, people can volunteer to work with you on the campaign. And also, most importantly, what would you say to folks real quick, about 30 seconds, about donations?
Donations are always welcome. I have pledged not to take a single dollar from any political action committee, a PAC. And I've had several contact me already. And I said, no, thank you. I'm not interested. I don't even want to do your questionnaire. So I'm depending on my own finances, and I'm depending upon the finances of anyone that wants to support what I'm doing and be part of this movement. So that's it, Randy.
Very good. Larry Hull, Hull. I know I've had a lot of people ask